Hey, this is Carla from the Butcher Babies.
This is George Cortron Fisher from Cannibal Corpse.
Hey, this is Rex from Kill Devil Hill. It's Wednesday 13. This is Daz from Devil Driving.
This is Motorist from War. You're listening to Rabid Noise
on Rabid Radio.
Turn it up.
And we're back on Rabid Noise. That was Evil Twin from Anthrax's latest album, For All Kings. And joining us on the program now is the one and only Scott Ian. What's going on, man?
Hey, how are you?
Good, dude. Good. It's excellent to be talking to you, man. Well, as a long-time Anthrax fan, I got to say this album is everything I'd hoped for, and it's definitely well worth the wait. And all the reviews have been amazing so far, and it hasn't even dropped yet. I mean, that must be amazing for you guys to know that it's going to be a big hit.
I don't know that. If I had a crystal ball, that would make my life a lot easier. But we are very happy about people's reactions to the record. All we could ever hope is that people will give us a chance and listen to an album, and let alone really, feel what we did. And it really feels like people are hearing the record kind of the same way I hear it, and they're really connecting with it. So that obviously makes us feel, great.
It is a winner, man. I've been really, really digging it. And I think it comes out on the 26th, I believe. I think everyone's just going to lose their shit, man.
Yes.
You're onto a winner, man. Especially,
good.
There's the, Charlie just put up a video of the blue vinyl version. That looks amazing.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I saw some pictures of the vinyl that's coming out, and they all look great. And I highly recommend the vinyl. For me, it's, that's what I grew up with, so I'm very pleased the fact that vinyl has kind of come back in such a big way. I love that.
It's about the presentation too, man. Like, I think that's a bit of a lost art. And with vinyl, you can definitely do that. Not just chuck it in a plastic sort of case and put it out there. You can put a little bit more effort into it. And this, I love how like the case comes out and the artwork's behind the logo, and then you open it up and the vinyl itself, the print of the blue vinyl. I think he called it like Jaws or something. It looks unreal, man.
Thank you.
Oh, and you've seen it, right? You've obviously seen it. I'm not spoiling it for you or anything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Cool, man. One of the things that drew me to the band initially was that I was a young metalhead who was also into comics, and I found, you guys relatable in that sense. And, this was at a time before it was, acceptable to be a nerd in public. So, now it just seems like it's the norm. Do you think you guys have had some kind of hand in that in the early days, especially for your fans?
I don't know that it was ever unacceptable. We were just in the comics, and I just think for us back then in the 80s, we were just being ourselves. So anything that we were into and anything we were a part of was always going to come out somehow, some way through our music or in interviews or photo shoots or whatever, because we were the same people on stage and off stage. That's just who we are. It's who we've always been. Lemmy taught us that, Lemmy was Lemmy on stage and off stage. And we always felt, well, we could be the same way. Why do I have to get dressed up in a leather costume to be in a metal band? I could just go on stage in my shorts and a t-shirt, and I could ride my skateboard, and I could read comics and let people know this is what I do. Everybody knew Lemmy read World War II books, Everybody knew that I read comic books. I always felt like I could just be myself in the band. And so if that had any type of influence on people, then that's great, whatever, I just think whatever you're doing in life, you should be yourself. You should just be happy with what you're doing, and that's all we ever did. That's
awesome, man. I guess I should have worded the question a little bit better, but that's what I was trying to say.
No worries.
What I was trying to say was, that's the positive influence that Anthrax has had on my life.
Right on. Thanks. Cool.
Well, you actually wrote a few issues of Lobo, and news recently broke that Danny Trejo was keen to play Lobo on the big screen as well. What do you think of that?
Is he, or that was just a rumor?
I don't know. I think he's. I don't know. I read that he's keen. I think it'd be awesome.
I don't know that. I don't know that there's a movie being made. Anyway, maybe there is. I don't know. But I think Danny Trejo would be amazing.
I think so too. I'd like to think it was true. I mean, I said the same thing about Deadpool. I thought, it's not happening. They got our hopes up. And now look at it.
Right.
We're a week away. So, man, I'd like to.
Yeah, I mean, if they were ever to do a Lobo movie, I can only hope that they do it like what they're doing with Deadpool, where it's not for kids. You know, they need to make. If they're going to do Lobo, they need to do it right, and that's an R-rated film for sure.
It's a lot easier for them to do these days. It's taken a little bit more seriously, which is something that I like. You know, so you never know.
Right.
Like Daredevil, the new Daredevil
Yep.
series is unreal. Super violent. I love it.
Oh, it's great. It was great. So was Jessica Jones. It was awesome.
I'm only a couple episodes into Jessica Jones. I've got to catch up with that.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, everyone keeps telling me I got to do it. Man, I could imagine your personal collection would be pretty epic. You know, what's the one piece in your possession that you'd say like is your pride and joy? Your comic collection or memorabilia or anything like that? Because you'd be still collecting, right?
Not so much. No, I'm not much of a collector. But I don't like stuff all over my house. I'm the opposite of a hoarder. I don't know. I've got some cool guitars, like signature models that were signed by people. Like I've got one of Gene Simmons' actual like on stage played axe basses that he signed to me. That's pretty awesome. I've got a couple of guitars that Eddie Van Halen signed for me, like Eddie Van Halen models. So some stuff like that would be pretty. You know, I think that stuff's pretty cool.
That's unreal, man. Do you have it all hung up on your walls and stuff like that so you can...
The Gene Simmons bass is on a stand in our office, and one of the Eddie guitars is hanging up, yeah.
Oh, that's unreal, man. Well, you know, this year, you know, as we were saying before, is going to be a pretty epic year for Marvel and DC with, you know, Deadpool out next week and Batman v Superman next month. What are you looking forward to the most, and who do you think is going to come out on top?
I'm actually looking forward to season 2 of Daredevil the most. I actually like the TV series better than the movies. I'm not really a big fan of these giant movies that Marvel and DC do. I find myself disappointed most of the time. Whereas the TV shows, whether it be Daredevil on the Marvel side or Jessica Jones on the Marvel side, or I just started watching the Flash series, I find the series far superior than the movies they make because they have a time to tell a story. Whereas in a movie, I feel like it's 2.5 hours of shit blowing up, and there really isn't much story being told outside of some of the X-Men movies, which I love, like X-Men 2 and X-Men: Days of Future Past. I thought were both amazing comic book movies. I have high hopes for X-Men Apocalypse, and those aren't made by Marvel. Those, you know, X-Men is outside of the Marvel studio thing. So I don't know, man. I go see the Marvel movies, but you know, I can't say there's one that like blows me away. Not like the TV stuff. Daredevil to me destroys any movie they've ever made.
I agree. I actually agree. I think it's unreal, man. And you know, they're bringing the Punisher in now. So, Walking Dead.
Yeah, Bernthal, something Bernthal.
Yeah.
Last name.
I can't wait for that, man.
John Bernthal.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, you've obviously had a part in The Walking Dead as well. You did some extra work and stuff.
Yeah, well, a part. I was a walker for 8 seconds in a scene, but yeah, I was in it. Yes, and it's amazing. It's amazing that I got to do that.
Do you want to do more acting and stuff like that?
I don't. It's not something I'm not actively out there pursuing anything. No. Something like the Walking Dead thing happened. It just happened, and I was able to go do it because like I have a web series called Bloodworks where I go and I hang out with effects people, and because I'm friends with Greg Nicotero, who's an executive producer on Walking Dead, that whole thing got to happen. It wasn't like I was out there trying to make that happen.
That's awesome, man. Well, with you know, Anthrax, of course, you know, are you drawing influence from a lot of these new shows and stuff like that, like Game of Thrones? You had a track on the Game of Thrones soundtrack as well. I mean, how's that influence you with your writing?
I don't know that it does. Other than the song that I specifically wrote for the Game of Thrones thing, lyrically, there's nothing on the album about Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I didn't write a song. I didn't write a song about Daredevil. So, I don't know. I don't know how it does. Look, everything I see, everything I read, everything I hear, it's in my brain. So somehow, some way, it might come out in a lyric, but I didn't consciously go in and write anything about any of the TV shows or movies I've seen in the last few years.
When you sit down to write, how do you find that space? Do you just sit in the studio at home and write a riff, or do you just wait for things to come to you? Like, do you have a routine for writing?
No, I just when I'm writing music, I just if I happen to play something on the guitar that I think sounds good, I will record it into my phone. It's like that's all I do. I never sit around and try and write riffs. I don't sit around and try and craft riffs really. I'll pick up a guitar and sometimes I'll just have an idea and I'll play it. And then if a week later I still think that idea is good, maybe I'll work on it. But and when it comes to lyrics, I get ideas. I write ideas down all the time. I'm always writing down ideas. I keep a list of ideas and song title ideas. And when it comes time when I've got a bunch of music, when the band arranges, songs, I start trying to put the ideas to the music. The music will generally tell me what kind of idea that song should be. I can't explain it. It's not something I could actually talk about because there is no rhyme or reason or formula to it. It just works in my brain.
Well, whatever it's doing, it's doing good. It's awesome, man. I heard you guys wrote like 20 songs for the album as well. Will any of those see the light of day in future, or?
No, we didn't. We didn't write 20 songs. We recorded 14 songs, 2 of which we didn't finish. So there's 11 on the record you've heard, and Japan has 1 bonus track.
Oh, cool. How does that come about? Is it you just submit it to the label and then they'll go where those, like, say, that bonus tracks go or anything like that, or?
No, for some reason Japan always just gets the bonus track.
It's crazy. I mean, almost all my Japanese CDs that I've collected over the years is always bonus tracks. They get lucky like that.
I think it goes back to just ages ago in the 70s probably, where the Japanese labels were getting killed by imports into Japan. So I guess they felt like if they could get a bonus track, that would help them sell copies domestically.
I didn't know that, man. Oh, there you go, man. That's awesome. Well, man, I've seen you live a few times over the years, and I'm really hoping to see you guys again in the future. So, I want to take my eldest daughter along to see you guys. Her first gig was last year to see Judas Priest and Dragon Force. I mean, and that was a pretty special moment for us, man. And I'd love to show you guys, live. I mean, have you got plans to tour here again soon?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's in the plans. I don't know when, but yes, we will absolutely be back to Australia at some point on this record for sure.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, you're a dad now yourself too, hey? So is he showing a bit of an interest in music as well?
Oh, yeah. He's already playing drums, and he loves being out on tour. He seems way into it.
Do you think that, being a dad now, has that changed you as, getting out there and as a touring musician, the way you view the world and things like that?
Yeah, it changes everything. Of course. Yeah, I've got a son. I've got a responsibility that's bigger than me. So that changes everything. Man,
is your house filled with the Wiggles? Do you guys have the Wiggles over there?
No, he likes rock music. He doesn't like bullshit. He actually likes rock music. Like he was into a thing called Yo Gabba Gabba for a while, which is a much cooler version of the Wiggles. It's a kid show, but it's actually good with good songs. So that kind of set him off, I think, from the beginning. That and the fact that he's growing up in a house where he's just surrounded by music all the
time. That's a good way to do it. I mean, Yo Gabba Gabba is pretty cool. We've got that here, but I've got a toddler at the moment,
cool.
So she's just obsessed with the Wiggles. But she'll come into my room, she'll pick up a guitar, and she'll bash away at it. I guess you got those special ones too.
Right.
Those all those collectibles you'd want to keep away. But I guess he'd probably know, being 4, he'd know to be gentle, right?
Yeah, look, I'm never going to tell him what to listen to or not listen to. It's up to him. I let him make his own decisions. If you try and force something on your kids, they're only naturally just going to rebel